Hi again.
Hi, Prof.
Okay, so let's discuss the cases, particularly the cases under foreign employment. Just to have a recap, you know already, and I discussed you already the nitty-gritty aspect of Republic Act 8042, the Migrant Workers Act of 1995, Republic Act 10022, the one that rationalizes the foreign employment and amending migrant workers of 1995, and even the law on alien being employed within the Philippines. Okay, even the articles on foreign employment made or prepared by the directors of the International Labor Studies of the Department of Labor and Employment. So let's go to the cases. First is the case of Bright Maritime Corporation versus Fantonial, Ricardo Fantonial. Okay? Ricardo Fantonial was hired sometime in January 15, 2000 as a ano ba yung I do not understand what is the position, but the position was a boatswain for 1 year. So since being employed by a foreign employer through our private fee charging employment agency, Bright Maritime, they entered into a contract of employment. The contract of employment is what we call it the POEA Standard Employment Contract. Okay? And the POEA Standard Employment Contract are already approved and verified by the POEA. You cannot deploy any workers outside of the Philippines unless there is already a pre-approved contract and verified. Okay? So that's the case. So Fantonial was eventually deployed or set for deployment rather, because he already signed the POA Standard Employment Contract. On his departure, okay, he was held by Bright Maritime, stating in substance that the medical certificate issued to him is defective. Sabi daw, defective daw yung medical niya. So, because of the defective medical certificate, he was not allowed to depart from the Philippines. Okay? Siyempre, ganti ni Fantonial, nag-file siya ng complaint, di ba, for illegal dismissal on that ground. Sabi naman ng Bright Maritime, wait lang, you're not yet deployed. So how come that there is an employment between us already? So, there is no employer-employee relationship between us or even your foreign employer. Okay? So, to cut it short, ano sabi ng Supreme Court? The Supreme Court, of course, ruled in favor of Fantonial. Diba sabi ko kanina, once the POA had approved and verified the contract becomes or became perfected. Okay? So, what is the consequence of having a perfected contract of employment? So, even though there is no actual departure or deployment of the worker, there is already an employer-employee relationship between the worker and the principal employer, which were processed and deployed by the private fee-charging employment agency or the private recruitment entity in the person of Bright Maritime. So, kahit hindi pa nagsimula yung kontrata nila, actually, there is already an employee-employee relationship. So, the Supreme Court awarded the 1-year period to the worker. So, ang laki nun. Siguro, kung sabihin natin 1,000 per, kahit $700, kasi nakalagay yata sa decision, parang 700 to 1,200 per month. So, ibibigay lahat yon. Okay? How about the benefits? Siyempre, unfair naman kung ibigay yun. Di naman pinagtrabahuan. So, only the salary commensurate to the contract. Okay? Which is given. And to serve as an example, so that the other private fee charging employment agency will not do the same to the workers, nag-award din ng Supreme Court ng moral damages in the amount of around 30 to 50,000 pesos. At para hindi tularan, nag-award pa ng Supreme Court ng exemplary damages amounting to 50,000. Kumita rin pati yung lawyer, because the lawyer also was given an attorney's fees of equivalent to 10% of the actual award. Okay? Any questions? Okay, so let's go to Serrano versus Galant Maritime. The case of Serrano versus Galant Maritime, please take note of Section 10, 5th paragraph of the Republic Act 8042. And also the Section 6, Section 6 ba? Section 10 din yata sa Republic Act 10022. Pero concentrate more on the 5th paragraph of Section 10 of Republic Act 8042, the Migrant Workers Act. In substance, the paragraph would say that in case of an illegally dismissed worker, the worker was illegally dismissed, yung mga OFW. Okay? Nakalagay kasi doon sa law, okay? They should be awarded equivalent to not more than 3 months salary. So, imbis na yung unexpired portion of the contract, nakalagay lang doon, ang ceiling niya is 3 months. Okay, that's very clear sa batas. Okay, so let's start with the case. Para makita nyo yung kung bakit, ano nangyari. So, Serrano was hired as a chief officer. Parang chief mate yan, parang ganon sa barko. Diba? For 1 year. So, same as the case of Fantonial, syempre meron silang POAA Standard Employment Contract, which is pre-approved and verified by the POAA. Okay? Ang salary niya is around parang mga nasa 1,400 a month. Okay? On the date of the departure, siguro loko yung employer. Okay? Dinowngrade yung position niya from a chief officer to second officer. At ang sweldo lang noon is nag-range lang sa 800 to 1,000 dollars a month. Dollar naman yun, hindi naman peso. Okay? So, after service of around 2 months lang, sa 1 year period, okay? Dinismiss siya. Sabi, your employment as a second officer is no longer needed. Okay? So, ang ginawa, syempre, invoking section 10, fifth paragraph, binigyan lang siya ng 3 months. Kasi yun lang naman nakalagay doon. At saka yung mga benefits niya due for the 2.5 month period of employment. Okay? Siyempre, nag-file siya ng kaso against Galant Maritime. Okay. As I told you a while ago, okay, if we follow the law to the letter, so the case is, of course, subscribe to the provisions of the law, which is the law only give him not more than 3 months. Kasi kahit 2.5 months lang yung service niya, so meron pa siyang 9 months, more or less, di ba? 9 months, more or less, na unexpired portion of the contract. But, since meron tayong batas na nililimit lang yung 3 months, so 3 months lang. So, what did the Supreme Court said in this aspect? This law, which I laid down a while ago, was rendered unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. So, pag sinabi mo unconstitutional, what is the effect? It is as if the law was not written. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Parang walang batas, di ba? It was rendered unconstitutional eh. So, the effect would be, there is no law to that effect because it was rendered by the Supreme Court unconstitutional. So, since it is unconstitutional, sabi ng Supreme Court, okay, considering that the worker was illegally dismissed, the inexpired portion of the contract must be awarded. So, ano yun? So, 9 months, di ba? So, 2 months and a half lang, di 9 months siya. May 9 and a half months pa siya na bayaran. Okay? Questions?
Sir, confirm ko lang po. So, wala na po yung part wherein yung ceiling is 3 months.
Wala na. Oo, wala na. Mamaya, medyo, kasi kaya tayo masteral degree. I will discuss further using Republic Act 122. Kasi this case was, of course, the application of Republic Act 8042. Okay, total na tanong mo na, sige, diretso na natin. Mamaya ko na i-discuss yung Yap versus Tena Maris because the case of Yap Tena Maris was also under Republic Act 8042. Okay. After these cases was rendered by the Supreme Court telling that this law was unconstitutional. Okay? Our Congress enacted again another law which is Republic Act 122. Siguro, either hindi nila pinansin yung decision ng Supreme Court o talagang ayaw lang nila yung decision ng Supreme Court. So, they copy to the letter the same law, the same provisions in Republic Act 122. After these cases were decided as unconstitutional. So, what was rendered unconstitutional is the law under Republic Act 8042. So, follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, since there was a new law where it copied the same provisions, anong effect nun? So, ang effect nun, na-revive, di ba? Yung batas na yon, yung 3-month sealing period. And since there is no case yet at this point telling that this new law that was reenacted pursuant to Republic Act 122, the law remained effective until it was again rendered unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in another case. Pero sa ngayon, wala pa. Okay? Okay, let's go to Yap versus Tenamaris. The case of Yap Tenamaris is the same as Serrano versus Galant Maritime. Si Yap was employed as electrician. Okay? So, after 2 months na na-employ siya, yung employer, medyo loko-loko, inano niya, binenta yung vessel. Okay? Sa iba. So, ang nangyari, binigyan na lang ng mga accrued benefits due the workers kay Yap. Siyempre, pursuant to the law on Republic Act 8042, binigyan din siya ng 3 months. Unexpired portion. Siyempre, file pa rin siya ng case against Tenamaris. So in this case, again, the law, since it was rendered unconstitutional, the unexpired portion was also given to Yap. Okay? Klaro?
Yes, sir. Sir, curious question.
Okay. Sige, go ahead.
Sir, di ba po itong cases na to pertains to foreign and immigrant workers or OFW po?
Yes.
How does it differ po? Or pareho lang po ba sa local employer, employees, or workers?
Magkaiba po yan. Kasi in the case of foreign employment, they are bound by the law on standard employment contract by OFW. Sa OFW, di ba, meron tayong POAA standard employment. Di ba, nakalagay kung 1 year ang contract, 3 years ang contract, that is purely based on the contract. So kung 3 years yan, unexpired portion of 3 years after 5 months of employed with the company, so meron kang 4 years and 7 months, di ba? Na parang tinatawag natin back wages when it comes to our local laws. But in local employment, sa atin, okay, under Article 295 as renumbered sa Labor Code, di ba? A person illegally dismissed from service shall be entitled to reinstatement with full back wages from the time it was unlawfully withheld from him the amount of wage and benefits until he or she is actually reinstated. You get it? So,
Yes, sir.
if, let's say for example, a person was illegally dismissed dito sa atin, local. Tapos, syempre, mga korte natin, ang gagaling. Maabot ng 10 years bago ma-decidean. Okay? Yung labor arbiter natin, NLRC, at the same time, it reached the Court of Appeals and then Supreme Court. So, 10 years yung case, kunwari. Ang worker, wala namang ginawa, kundi nanood lang ng TV. Okay? Hindi na naghanap ng ibang trabaho. Sarap ng buhay. And then later on, the Supreme Court said it's illegal, the dismissal. So, if it's a 10-year period of waiting, the 10-year period is considered as the back wages. So, magkaiba. Kasi here, the employment is presumed to be continuous. Kuha nyo? Unlike in OFW, limited lang. You're based only on contract. Kung 3 years yan, 2 years, only the expired portion will be awarded. Plus damages, syempre, kung intentional yung illegal dismissal. Okay?
Noted, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so the case of ano ba yan? Estate of Dulay versus Aboitiz. Okay? In this case naman, si Dulay yata worked for various position with Aboitiz and with several vessels of Aboitiz. The last of the work was being detailed with the vessel Kikapo Bell. Okay? Immediately after the contract with Aboitiz, after being detailed with MV Kikapo Bell, okay, he died of renal failure. Renal is sa puwet yata yun eh. Something, parang ganon. Okay? So, namatay siya. Pero, hindi na siya employed ng Aboitiz. But, it cannot be denied that Dulay was a member of the AMOSUP. Ito yung mga association of the seafarers. Sa AMOSUP, pag AMOSUP ka, automatic that you are also member of the collective bargaining agreements that the AMOSUP may be entered into with various private fee charging employment agency or recruitment agency. Meron silang CBA. So kung sa local meron CBA, meron din sila. Okay? So whatever benefits they may have is in pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement that entered into. So even after the contract, nakalagay kasi doon, just to give you a short background of what CBA that entered into, is that even after that, okay, liable pa rin yung private fee charging employment agency or the private recruitment entity. Especially if the member, okay, contracted the illness or the injuries, whatever it is, or the sickness, okay, while he was working. So, yun yung nakalagay doon. So, nag-file ng claims. Kaso, ang finailan naman, siguro hindi mahina yung abogado. Ang finailan, ang forum na pinuntahan niya is sa labor arbiter. Siyempre, labor arbiter, they decided the case, although it's partly against the private fee charging employment agency, but it's partly unfavorable to the worker. So, umabot yan ng Supreme Court. Nung nakarating sa Supreme Court, sabi naman ng Supreme Court, sandali lang. At the outset, defective na yung forum. The jurisdiction must not be with the labor arbiter. Dapat sa voluntary arbitrator or panel of voluntary arbitrators. Kasi, this involves the interpretation of collective bargaining agreement or contracts or the company personnel policies. So, it's all about the interpretation or application of the bargaining or the contracts or the company personnel policies. So, it is not the jurisdiction of the labor arbiter pursuant to Article 217, but it's within the jurisdiction of the voluntary arbitrators or the panel of voluntary arbitrators pursuant to Article 260 to 262B of the Labor Code of the Philippines as amended. Okay? So, ang sabi ng Supreme Court, sandali, we will remand the matter to the voluntary arbitrator. Siyempre, alam nyo na kung anong effect nun pagka rinemand nyo yon. The voluntary arbitrator will decide, and the arbitrator will decide based on the collective bargaining agreement. So, it's all favorable to the worker. Get it? At least you have an idea already on how to report cases. Para pag kayo naging reporter, in case you will be handling cases, you will just go direct to the factual circumstances of the case and to the topic. Huwag na yung ilagay mo, file a case for petition for certiorari, alam ba natin yon? Kung law student tayo, yes. Okay? Yung mga simpleng that's why I put it in a level that is understandable to everybody. Hindi yung magsasabi ako ng certiorari, di ba? A writ was whatever, a technical aspect, hindi nyo maintindihan yon. Siguro, if one of the students here is a lawyer or law graduate or law student, he or she can understand it. But how about those belonging to HR or IR practitioners? So, sinisimplify lang natin. It would be different if I will be discussing it to a law student or to a bar reviewer or reviewee.
Noted, sir.
Okay. So, any questions so far? Okay, so let's go to the case of Delia Romero versus People of the Philippines. So, sa title pa lang, alam nyo na it's a criminal case. Diba? Alam nyo naman yung definition ng illegal recruitment, right? Under Republic Act 10022. Okay? Just to repeat, an illegal recruitment involves any act of canvassing, enlisting, contracting, transporting, utilizing, hiring, and procuring workers, includes referrals, contract services, okay, promising or advertising for a fee for employment abroad, okay, undertaken by a non-licensee or non-holder of authority, or even undertaking by a licensee or holder of authority but commits any of the prohibited acts or practices as defined under Republic Act 122. Ito yung mga 14. Ito, diniscuss ko na rin to, di ba? Okay. So, let's go further to the case. Delia Romero, okay, has a stall. Meron siyang stall. Nag-i-invite siya ng mga i-recruit for deployment for Israel. Okay? So, itong si Romulo and a certain Shapno, okay, was enticed and went to the stall of Delia. So, pagdating nila doon sa stall, siguro magaling magsalita si Delia, because of the encouragement na, okay, ganito ang gagawin natin. Okay? You just give me 3,600 pesos. No. $3,600 pala. Okay? Tapos ako na bahala sa inyo. And you will be earning a salary of around $700 to $1,200 a month. Plus yung mga overtime benefits and so on and so forth. Okay? Mati-deploy kayo sa Israel. Kaya lang, sabi niya, ang deployment nyo doon, alam naman natin na mahirap pumasok. Alam nyo that there is a risk. Okay? Wag lang kayo magpapahuli sa immigrant. Sinabi naman yun wala namang problema. All is fair. Binigay ko sa inyo yung ganito lang. Pero ito yung matatanggap nyong sweldo. Okay? So, Romulo accepted the proposal. So, nagbigay siya. Then, na-deploy naman siya successfully. Okay? After around mga 2 months yata yun, ay nahuli siya ng Israeli police. Parang ganon. Okay? Bago siya i-repatriate dito, dinetain muna siya doon. After being detained for quite some time, he was deported here. Pag deport na dito, automatic nag-file ng case for illegal recruitment against Delia Romero. Sabi ni Delia, sandali lang. Alam niyo naman yung risk, di ba? I was just inviting you to go there. Pero ang invitation kasi for employment, di ba? Hindi naman niya sinabi, okay, paprocess ko lang yung visa mo. Hindi, employment. Di ba? Remember, a while ago, of the definition. Canvassing, enlisting, contracting, transporting. Even promising employment. Kuha nyo ha, with or without fee to a worker. So you get it? And
Yes, sir.
Romero, sabi niya, documented. So I get the presumption that Romero was not a licensee or holder of any authority. Di ba? Tapos sabi pa ni Romero, wala naman akong resibo sa iyo na nagbigay ka ng 3,600. So, all sisterly or brotherly love lang yan. Binigay ko. Okay? Ano sabi ng Supreme Court? Okay? The Supreme Court finds Delia Romero as illegal recruiter and even sentenced to an imprisonment and fine. Ang sabi ng Supreme Court, the fact that you promise a person for employment, whether there is fee or no fee, then it is constitutive of recruitment and placement. And since you have no authority or license to do that, then it becomes illegal. Di ba? Follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the case of Beckman. I think ito na yung last. Beckman versus spouses Simplicio and Mila Quaresma. Okay? So, Nilo and spouses Nilo and ano pangalan ng isa? Mila Quaresma had a daughter. Anak nila is named Janet Quaresma. And then Janet Quaresma, okay, applied and in fact successfully applied and got a job at Al-Berk Hospital in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as an assistant nurse. Okay? And she got a contract for 3-year period. Okay? After 1-year period of employment, okay, one of the employees of the hospital found her in one of the place in that in one of the dorm, parang dormitory nila o tawag nito, parang stay-in nila kung saan. Okay? That Janet Quaresma lied down and then infused with poison on her mouth. So, the hospital, after making a diagnosis, okay, concluded that Janet Quaresma died of poisoning. Okay? So, the body of Janet Quaresma was repatriated here in the Philippines. Okay? At inuwi yon sa bayan nila sa Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija. Okay? Upon the arrival of the body of Janet Quaresma in Cabanatuan, siguro nagduda yung mga kamag-anak niya, pamilya niya, parang gano'n. Kasi bihis na doon sa cadaver, etc. Pina-autopsy nila. And then, the City Health Officer of Cabanatuan City conducted the autopsy. And it found out that Quaresma did not die of poisoning, but of violent circumstances. Ano ba yung violent circumstances? Parang the City Health Officer found out na merong mga abrasions sa several parts of the body. Meron siya mga bruises even dun sa vaginal part, sa labia minora at majora. Meron siyang mga hematoma on the legs and so on and so forth. Although the City Health Officer cannot discount of rape or molestation. Basta yun lang ang ano niya. Okay? So, the findings was further endorsed to NBI. Yung NBI Regional Office naman conducted another examination. And they agreed with the City Health Officer that Quaresma did not die of poisoning but of violent circumstances. Okay? So, the spouses, yung parents niya, si Nilo at si Mila, filed claims with Beckman. Siyempre, hindi niya na mahahabol yung hospital, yung Albert, dahil wala naman tayong jurisdiction doon. So, doon sa private fee charging employment agency or the private recruitment entity, which are registered with the POAA. So, ganun nangyari. Nag-file siya. Okay, so, anong sabi ng Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the spouses, giving and granting the benefits due the worker because she died of course, while she was on duty. And the unexpired portion of the salary of the missed worker should be granted, should be afforded to the spouses. And likewise, moral, exemplary, and other forms of damages, including attorney's fees in the concept of damages. One thing that the Supreme Court, especially in declaring that Beckman is liable because of the concept on solidary liability. While you cannot go against anymore the principal employer, you can still go against the private fee charging employment agency or the recruitment entity here. So, liable si Beckman dito. Okay? Okay? Follow?
Noted, sir.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, ready na ba yung reporter? Kung hindi naman, I will still discuss si Maricar sa TESDA tsaka Dual Systems Training Act.
Ready naman, sir.
Sige, so sige na.
Let me just share my screen po.
You can screen share it. Okay lang. If you have a PowerPoint presentation, should there be any?
Meron po.
Ay, mali yata ako nagkamali.
Ayan. Kita po ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sige, proceed. I'll mute it para ano,
Okay po.
sa akin. Asan ba yun? Paano ba yung mute to?
Hi, ready na po.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, classmates. So, I will be reporting. So, under the Skills Training and Development, Chapter 3 ng lesson natin would be RA 7796 or TESDA Act of 1994 and RA 7686 or the Dual Training Act System or Dual Training System Act of 1994. So, pinili ko lang yung mga I think na relevant na information that I can share with you. So, first, let's go with the Republic Act number 7796 or yung TESDA Act of 1994.
Afternoon po again.
Good
Now,
afternoon.
what I did is I made the table to show the difference between the three special workers. So for this chapter, for Title 2, it is divided into Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. And Chapter 1 focuses on apprentices. Chapter 2 focuses on the learners. And the Chapter 3 is on the handicapped workers. Okay. So, to start with is the objectives. No? So, the title.
Okay,
yun lang po.
thank you. Thank you. So, the report was, I think, well presented dahil may matrix. Especially when you're comparing something. When you will have the report, it would be better if it's in a matrix form when there are differences. Well, just to elucidate further dun sa report ni Josephine, learners, apprentice, and handicapped workers are considered special group of workers because of their salary, which is below the applicable minimum wage, but not less than 75% of the same. But take note later on, the handicap is now the persons with disabilities. So, iba na yung approach sa mga PWDs mamaya, which I will discuss. Sandali lang to, yung before we end our session. Another here is yung guaranteed employment. When it comes to learners, guaranteed yan. The moment that you hire, there is an undertaking on the employer to hire them as regular. When it comes to apprentice and even handicap or persons with disabilities, well, you have to subject to, of course, yung probationary period, diba? Yung trial.
Yes.
Hindi katulad ng learner. Okay? Another is yung when you apply the so-called dual system. Andan yung benefits, yung holidays, tax holidays, di ba? Andyan yung skill enhancement, attitude, and knowledge. The knowledge, although acquired in school, it can still be enhanced through exposure in a work or job or activities given by the employer. Okay? So, as to the cases, yung halimbawa, the party may be aggrieved, especially the learners, the apprentice, or even the handicapped worker, medyo unique. Bakit? When there is a violation, especially when the learner or the apprentice or the handicapped worker is asking for regular or permanent employment, automatic yun if there is a breach or violation. Okay? Unlike pagka sa regular workers, di ba? Hindi yan automatic, especially if the worker is on a fixed kind of employment. If the worker is on a project based employment, hindi yan automatic na regular ka kaagad. It's still subject to the circulars and the department order of the Secretary of Labor. Okay? Unlike dito, like what Josephine told you a while ago, that violation of the apprenticeship agreement, it is as if that it was not written. So since it was not written, Article 4 of the Labor Code applies, di ba? In case of doubt, it shall be construed in favor of the worker. So since there was no agreement, the worker becomes regular. Kasi yun ang favorable sa kanya, di ba? So that's the uniqueness of this special group of workers. Okay? So, proceeding further, para at least ma-understand na natin itong in total, is the laws on persons with disabilities. You know that handicap workers provisions were now amended by the Magna Carta for the Disabled Persons, the Republic Act 7277, and further amended by 9442, and further amended by 10070, and further amended by 10574 ba yun? And then 10754. Ang dami. Okay? Handicap pa lang, ay persons with disabilities pa lang yon. But I will discuss that in totality. Yung lahat ng laws na to. Okay? So, when you say disabled, what do you mean? A disabled person is a person suffering from any defect. Diba? There is a restriction on the movements or on the abilities of the person as a result of mental, physical, or sensory impairment. And when you talk about impairment, pag impairment is that loss or diminution or aberration, okay, of the physical, physiological, psychological, and then the anatomical structure of the person. Okay? And that is not only the physical loss, even the loss of the function of such organ. Kumbaga, yung kamay, ay hindi pala ako naka-video. Sorry. Yung kamay, ito, kunwari, pag putol yan, syempre physical loss yun. Pero pag buo, pero hindi mo naman may galaw, that's still contemplated as an impairment. So it's not only physical, but even the loss of use of that, of function of that organ. Okay na yun. Okay? Disabled ka na. Parang pwede ka nang humingi ng sa PDAW, yung Philippine Persons Disability Affairs Office, di ba? Ng PWD card, di ba? Alam niyo naman pag PWD card, privilege. Okay, later I will discuss this. So, no disabled or persons with disability shall be denied access to any opportunities, even employment in the military, in all, so long as the defect will not in any way impede the operation or the work for which the disabled or persons with disability is hired. So, if you can still effectively function as a disabled, so your benefits, salaries, wages, monetary and non-monetary, shall be the same as those able-bodied persons once you were hired by the employer. Hindi pwedeng 75%, di ba? That's why it's already an effective amendment of handicap workers, the provisions on the handicap workers. Okay? Another good privilege provisions in the Magna Carta is the 5% mandatory employment of all casual and contractual employees in some selected government agencies, normally catering social development programs of the country. So, sino itong mga to? Ito yung DSWD, di ba? Department of Education, Department of Health. Okay? So, itong mga to, kailangan yung 5% nung kanilang employees must come from persons with disabilities. Meron ng ganong provisions. Mandatory po yun na sa mga agency na to. Okay? And then, disabled persons, in relation to the report of Josephine, can also be qualified as learners and apprentice, provided that they comply with all the requisites and the qualifications for learners and apprentice. And provided further that their employment as a learners and apprentice will not effectively impede the operations of the company. Okay? Okay. The employer may also employ disabled person as regular. Okay? As regular employee. Again, provided that they cannot effectively impede the operation of the company, and they can do what an able-bodied person can do. Diba? In the first place, bakit mo naman hinire yan? By hiring them, it is presumed that they can effectively do what an able-bodied person can do. Parang ganun yan eh. Diba? Okay. The only restriction or regulation is that when you give the person same as the salaries and benefits due to a able-bodied person or ordinary regular employees, dapat yung persons with disability must be accredited by the DOH. Must also be in the roster of eligible PWDs with the Department of Labor and Employment. Roosters of eligible employees. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag na labor force participation na naka-register sa Department of Labor. Diba? Okay? And if the employer would improve, kasi requirement na kasi kayo yung i-improve mo yung facility mo, yung employment premise to accommodate these persons with disabilities. So, ano yung mga corrections doon sa facility, lalo na yung mga old building sa UP, di ba? Ano yung mga yon? Yung ramping of the stairs, di ba? Lowering the telephone line, putting up a braille in an elevator. Although yung elevator natin medyo bumpy na. Kasi Otis made pa yun. Ganon. So, these are the things that you will improve. So, with that improvement, syempre, hingi ka ng deductions from the gross income. Is that allowed? That is allowed. Diba? A portion of whatever expenses you incurred in the improvement of your facilities can be considered or treated as a deductible from your gross income. Okay? In fact, whatever you give as a salary to your persons with disabilities may also be considered as deduction from your corporate income tax. Yeah? Yan ang maganda pag may mga ganito ka. Okay?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Another is yung kasi meron tayong yung batas ng scholarship. Nung nasa UP din ako, meron akong ganyan, yung mga scholarship pagka scholar ka ni ganyan, yung mga NGOs, etc. 'Di ba? Because of Republic Act 6728, yung anong tawag nun? Private Education Student Financial Assistance Act. Okay? So, in connection with that law, ang Republic Act 7277 requires that at least 5% of this must be allocated to the PWDs. Okay? So, yung 5% nun dapat ma-allocate sa PWDs. So, dapat may mga scholar din na PWDs. Okay? especially those in pursuing yung mga vocational and technical courses, particularly concentrated on the science, mathematics, and technology. Pero kung wala, pwede rin sa degree courses, but also focusing on science, mathematics, and technology. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another is, of course, the state also promotes organization of these workers. So, yung mga samahan ng mga PWDs, pwede ba yon? Magtayo ng union? Yes, they are encouraged by the state. So,
Yes.
di ba, part of the rights of the workers is the right to organize. Oh. So, kasali na rin yon. So, yung mga samahan ng mga mahirap magsabi kasi vilification yan pagka sinabi ko. Samahan ng mga PWDs sa Pilipinas, mga ganon. Pwede ba yun? Yes, that is allowed. Party list, PWDs. Pwede ba yun? Pag dininay mo yung accreditation nun, kawawa ka. Kasi because of this law. Kaya tingnan nyo, pagka yung mga disabled o persons with disability nagpa-credit sa COMELEC, nako, granted agad kahit talunan. Okay lang. Kahit granted agad yung accreditation kasi because of this law. Okay? And violation of this law would mean penalties. Ano yung penalty? First violation, nasa fine ng 50,000 to 100,000, malaki din yun, di ba? Yung nang bugbog ka ng tao, lang yun 200 pesos Samantalang ito, nang vilify ka o nang insulto ka ng PWDs, 50 to 100,000. And then another 6 months to 2 years imprisonment. Diyos ko. Subsequent violation would mean 100 to 200,000. Tapos 2 years to 6 years. Diba? Kaya, anyway, this is already in lump with all the laws, hindi lang yung 7277. Diniscuss ko na lahat, pati yung Republic Act 9442, 10070, 10524, 10754. Ang dami kasi na batas So, sinamarize na lang natin para So, what are the particular abuses that you may commit against persons with disabilities? Ito yung mga vilification, vilifying, acts of ridiculing the PWDs, di ba? Or inciting hatred among them, or hatred against them. Iba pa yung among them, iba pa yung against them. It's tantamount to a serious contempt. So, ano yung penalty, di ba? Sabi ko, first offense, nasa 50 to 100, 6 months imprisonment to 2 years. Subsequent offenses, 100 to 200, or fine, or imprisonment of 2 years to 6 years, or both, at the discretion of the court. Okay? Another privileges is yung 20% discount. So, pag may PWD ka, di ba? May 20% discount ka. Saan? Siyempre, in almost all, buying medicines, going to a cinema sa Quezon City nga, di ba? Libre nga Mga senior tsaka PWDs, libre sa Quezon City. Tapos may window sila, di ba? Ang lesson doon, wag kang manonood na kasama yon pagka window nila kasi bakit maingay doon maingay. Tapos syempre hindi ka pwedeng mambuisit doon dahil it's tantamount to verification or acts of ridicule, di ba? Kaya doon ka sa ordinary times, so ordinary days. Hindi yon. Ngayon, may I ask, what about aesthetic surgery, aesthetic diagnosis, etc.? Hindi kasali yon. Kung pupunta ka ng nightclub, okay, iinom ka, hindi yan, walang discount yon. Kasi it's a privilege, it's not a right. Okay? Yung mga necessities lang, like buy medicines, etc., even laboratory, diagnostic because of sickness, etc., ito yung mga discounted. Pero yung punta ka ng bar, mambababae, manlalalaki, okay, ay hindi, walang discount yun. Although ngayon ECQ, wala eh. Ano ngayon? Lockdown.
Liquor ban.
Kaya yung mga babae sa ang ginagawa online na lang. Online. Anyway. Okay? So, yung mga discount naman na binibigay naman ng mga company is kung din yun, subsidized ng government. Kung hindi man subsidized, okay, can be declared as deductions from the gross income. So, kung may 20%, pwede mo rin i-claim yon as deductions. Okay? So, bahala na si accountant kung paano yun. Okay? And then, the issuance of ID, paano? Kailangan mo ng certification sa barangay, di ba? Hingi ka ng certification na ikaw PWD and then you go to the PDAO. Ano yung PDAO? Persons with Disability Affairs Office. Bawat local government unit meron siyang PDAO. Yung PDAO yun yung nag-i-issue ng ID as a coordinating body of all persons with disabilities. Tapos, they act still as a representative in the local development council. Ito yung mga naglalabi ng mga ordinansa sa bawat city for the enabling ordinance or law giving and affording benefits and privileges to persons with disabilities. Okay? Okay. So, how about yung sa employer, private institutions, private employers. Ngayon kasi meron ng mandate sa mga employer na if you are employing 100 persons o employees, dapat isa doon PWD. Okay? So, in short, 1% of your total employment population must be afforded to PWD. So, for every 100, meron kang isa. Diba? Hindi naman pwede pagka 99 ka, ang hirap nun. Point something, wala namang ganun. Kailangan 100 para meron kang isang PWD. Okay?
Sir, meron po bang parang batas na nagpapunish?
10524, Republic Act 10524. Hindi naman nagpapunish, pero actually sa administrative matter yan ng labor. Pwede kang hindi pahirapan sa sa Dole Department Order 174, mga ganon. It was not actually stated in the law kasi the law is still said encourage the employer. Pero it does not necessarily follow na okay lang kahit hindi. Kasi meron na ring mga department orders or circulars na pag hindi mo in-employ, kung may 100 ka, pahirapan ka naman sa licensing mo or accreditation mo. Di ba? Halimbawa
Sir,
ko. Sige.
Share ko lang po per experience. Been with 4 companies already. And nag-undergo din po kami ng DOLE, yung mga inspection on-site and yung mga documents. Pero parang wala pa naman po kami na-encounter na DOLE inspector na nagsabi na.
Kasi it was just encouraged. Pero kung halimbawa hingi ka ng privilege like DOL 174, mga ganyan. May mga inspector kasi tingnan ko nga yung makitaan ka lang ba ng butas? Tingnan ko nga yung kung nag-comply kayo dun sa PWDs, etc. Pag wala, so iantala niya yung yung DO 174 certification mo, accreditation mo, etc. Something like that. Pero syempre by following the law to the letter, the letter of the law would say encouragement. And it did not say shall, di ba? So it's just encouragement. Pero alam mo naman, in the practical side, kaya nga sabi ko sa iyo, we're not talking about here the theory itself. It's more on the practical side. Eh kung practical, pahirapan kita basta may makita lang akong may konting mali, parang gano'n sa'yo. Mga labor inspector, di ba? In fact, isa yan sa ambition ko nung bago pa ako, labor inspector. With that, siguro next time I will just share the third and fourth page, third and fourth pages of the syllabus, tapos you choose na lang doon on or before our next meeting kung ano yung report nyo, so that yung hindi nyo mapili, syempre ako magre-report noon. Okay?
Sir, magre-report po ba kami ulit ni Josephine or yung mga others?
Well, nasa inyo kung gusto nyo. It's your choice. Hindi ko kayo pipilitin. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, yung hindi nyo mapili, ako magre-report noon.
Noted, sir.
Ganun tayo para at least. So I will be sending you, nasa inyo na yung first and second, di ba? Page.
Yes po, sir.
Yung third and fourth naman ang ibibigay ko para at least you can choose tapos as we go along. Now, as to the distribution, saka na kasi medyo late na eh. So, next time na lang pag-isipan nyo kung paano yung distribution ng natin. Course requirements. Okay?
Oh, then, sir.
Sige, so dumidilim na eh. So, tsaka may meeting pa ako sa ng 7 o'clock. Meeting naman with a client.
7 minutes, sir.
Ha?
You have 7 minutes.
Kaya nga yun pagkakapirahan ito. Sayang baka pag na-miss ko to, wala akong pera lockdown ngayon di ba?
Thank you, sir.
Sige, thank you very much and have a long weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Ay, ano muna tayo? Picture tayo. Picture tayo.
Ay, picture.
Paano na ba yun? Shift. Ano ba yun?
Command Shift 3.
Command Shift 3. Oh, sige, hindi. Wait lang. Ano ba? Okay na ba? Command Shift 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend. Okay.